chosen one. You did not stumble into this moment. Heaven has summoned you here. Something in your spirit has been tugged, guided, pulled into alignment for this exact second. This is not coincidence. This is divine appointment. The veil that once covered your true identity is thinning, and the one who formed you before time began is calling you to remember who you are. Before you were placed in your mother's womb, as written in Jeremiah chapter 1 verse 5, you were set apart, marked and chosen for a purpose far greater than you have ever understood. Anointed one. The signs that followed you since childhood were not random. The sensitivities you carried, the intuition you could never explain, the battles that seemed unfair, the gifts you tried to hide, all of them were markers placed inside you by heaven. You are standing at the edge of revelation, a moment where your hidden bloodline and spiritual origin rise to the surface. Your spirit recognizes this because deep within you have always known you were different. Chosen, appointed, designed with intention. As it is written in 1 Peter chapter 2 verse 9, you are a royal priesthood, a people set apart. This is your awakening. Open your heart. Chosen one. What comes next will transform your body, your spirit, and the entire path before you. Chosen one. As you breathe in this moment, something in your spirit already knows that what you are hearing is not ordinary. It is a stirring, a gentle pull, a familiar whisper that feels like home. Heaven has been trying to reach you for a long time, and now that your heart is open, the message can finally land where it was always meant to take root. You have been walking with a weight on your chest, carrying emotions you never voiced and fighting silent battles that no one around you ever fully understood. Yet even in those moments when you felt unseen, the one who crafted your destiny was shaping you quietly, preparing you for a transformation you didn't even know was coming. You may not realize it yet, but you are standing at the threshold of a supernatural renewal. I'm giving you a new heart, chosen one, a heart that sees with clarity, feels with purpose, and loves with the strength that heaven placed inside you before you ever took your first breath. Those who know you will see the change. They will feel the shift in your presence and recognize that something divine has touched your life. Unexpected help, the kind that aligns perfectly and arrives at the precise moment you need it, will begin to flow toward you because heaven has commanded doors to open that were never meant to stay shut. In this journey, your gratitude will become your key. When you learn to see blessings, even in small things, you activate a spiritual law that multiplies what you already have. I have walked through seasons where doubt tried to silence my own faith, where heaviness pressed against my spirit until I could hardly breathe, and I remember how it felt to question whether I was forgotten. Yet every time without fail, there came a moment where peace settled over me like a warm blanket, and I realized that heaven had never left me for even a second. That personal experience is why I can confidently tell you this: you are not alone, chosen one. Speaking to the divine is simpler than you imagine. You don't need elaborate words or perfect prayers. All it takes is a quiet breath and a whisper from your heart. Just close your eyes and say, "Lord, I need you," and the heavens move, the atmosphere shifts, and the presence that guards your destiny surrounds you instantly. Faith is the bridge that carries you from where you are into where you are meant to be, and despite everything you have faced, you still carry faith inside you. That is proof that nothing has been able to destroy what heaven placed within you. The truth is that the presence walking with you has never left your side. The only distance that ever appears is when fear distracts you, or when confusion fills your heart with voices that were never meant to guide you. There will always be teachings, opinions, and beliefs in this world that try to pull you away from your true identity, but you must guard your heart. When I learned this lesson myself, it came during a time when I allowed too many voices to influence me and I felt spiritually lost. It took returning to silence, grounding myself in prayer, and remembering who created me to finally break free from that fog. That experience taught me that what enters the heart has power, and what you allow into your heart shapes how you see everything around you. This is why heaven is urging you now: protect your spirit. Do not let hatred or bitterness take root in you. Do not be quick to believe harmful words spoken about others, for traps are often set in subtle ways. You, chosen one, are being raised up, not to join in the noise of the world, but to rise above it. You are being positioned as a light, someone who uplifts their family, strengthens the weak, and inspires those who have forgotten that hope is real. There is a reason your spirit resists negativity so strongly. It is because your identity was never designed to align with darkness. I have met many people in my life, but chosen ones carry something different in their eyes. There is this quiet resilience, this deep tenderness, this ability to care even after being wounded. You have that. You always have. And now heaven is highlighting it because it is time for those qualities to awaken fully. You've asked for peace repeatedly. You've prayed with sincerity, and even if life felt loud and overwhelming, those prayers were never ignored. Peace is coming to you not as a temporary feeling, but as a permanent foundation. You will need this peace because your path is widening, and new responsibilities, opportunities, and blessings are preparing to meet you. Keep the divine words close to your heart, for they are your compass when confusion tries to mislead you. When the enemy comes like a roaring lion trying to shake the faith you've built through years of endurance, remember that a chosen one is never unprotected. The voice of heaven will guide you. The spirit within you will recognize truth. The light around you will illuminate every shadow. And this is only the beginning of your awakening, chosen one, for there is much more that heaven is preparing to reveal to you. Chosen one. As you continue to open your heart to this word, something within you is beginning to rise. You can feel it, even if you cannot fully explain it. There is a quiet stirring, a deep recognition, the sense that what you are hearing is not just encouragement, but revelation. This is because heaven is not merely comforting you, heaven is awakening you. I want you to understand that the strength being formed in you right now is not the ordinary kind that comes from human willpower. It is a sacred strength, the kind that is forged in the unseen, the kind that grows when you have walked through storms you never told anyone about. You may not realize it yet, but those storms were shaping you into someone who carries authority, not the loud kind, not the boastful kind, but the silent, undeniable authority of someone who has survived what was meant to break them. Many times in my own life, I thought I was lost, trapped in places where answers seemed far away and clarity felt impossible. Yet looking back, those were the very seasons where heaven was closest, quietly rearranging things behind the scenes, guiding my steps, even when I couldn't feel it. And that is exactly what has been happening with you. You didn't lose your way. You were being repositioned. You didn't fail. You were being refined. Every obstacle, every delayed promise, every closed door was part of a divine pattern that your spirit will soon understand. The signs have been around you for years, chosen one. You felt the spiritual sensitivity before. You noticed moments where your intuition was too sharp to ignore, where your heart sensed danger long before your mind could comprehend it. These were not coincidences. They were markers of the identity placed inside you since the beginning. Heaven designed you with heightened perception, with a deeper emotional radar, with a heart that can feel shifts in the unseen long before they manifest in the physical. And while others may have dismissed your sensitivity as weakness, Heaven is now revealing that it was one of your greatest gifts all along. There were times you felt different, maybe even isolated, because you didn't fit into certain environments. What drained others energized you, and what energized others drained you. You walked into rooms and felt heaviness that no one else seemed aware of. You sensed dishonesty even when you had no evidence. You felt people's intentions before you ever heard their words. This is the life of a chosen one, the life of someone Heaven marked from birth. I have lived through seasons where I carried this same sensitivity, and it often made me feel misunderstood. Yet with time I began to see that this inner awareness was not a burden, but a compass. It saved me from wrong paths, protected me from unseen traps, and guided me toward relationships and opportunities that aligned with my destiny. And the same guiding light is in you. That's why Heaven is reminding you now, you are not like the rest. You have been raised up, trained, and shaped for something greater. You have been preserved, protected, and hidden at times when exposure would have harmed you. You have been held back, not because you were unworthy, but because Heaven was preparing the right moment for your unveiling. Now that moment is drawing near. But before that unveiling happens, your spirit must be strengthened and awakened. You must remember who you are so that when the doors open, you walk through them with confidence, clarity, and authority. And that begins by releasing what no longer belongs in your heart. Let go of the resentment that still echoes in your memories. Release the guilt for mistakes that have already been forgiven. Stop carrying the weight of people's judgments, expectations, or misunderstandings. You are rising above all of that. Your future does not belong to the voices that criticized you. Your future belongs to the one who designed your identity before the foundation of the world. And this is why Heaven is urging you to stand firm. The storms in your mind, the doubt, the fear, the confusion, the overthinking are beginning to settle. Where there was once heaviness, there will be clarity. Where there was once panic, there will be peace. Where there was once exhaustion, there will be renewal. You will notice your spirit becoming stronger, like someone who suddenly remembers a truth they never should have forgotten. Your courage will rise, your vision will sharpen, your inner fire will begin to return, and with it, a new determination to step into what belongs to you. There is a moment coming where the things that once intimidated you will no longer hold power. There is a moment coming where you will look at your past and realize that every painful chapter was actually preparation. And there is a moment coming where your breakthrough will not just change your circumstances, but will shift everything connected to your life, your family, your environment, your destiny. Chosen one, this is your awakening. The divine has begun something in you that cannot be undone. And as you continue forward, more will be revealed. Chosen one. As you move deeper into this unfolding revelation, your spirit is beginning to recognize that nothing about your journey has been accidental. Every detour, every delay, every unexpected turn has been woven with purpose. The challenges you faced were not signs of abandonment, but signs of preparation. Heaven has been shaping your character, sharpening your discernment, and strengthening your endurance so that when the next season arrives, you will not merely enter it, you will carry it with authority. You are not the same person you were a year ago, or even a month ago. Something within you has shifted. You are thinking differently, feeling differently, responding differently. These changes are not random. They are indicators that Heaven has begun to transform your inner world so your outer world can follow. I have walked through seasons where I didn't understand why life felt heavy or why certain relationships suddenly fell apart. It wasn't until later that I saw those moments for what they truly were: divine redirection. When heaven removes people, opportunities, or habits from your life, it is never a punishment. It is protection. And the same protection surrounds you right now. You may feel the weight of transition, the uncertainty of stepping into what is unfamiliar, but trust this: the one who called you chosen is clearing your path. There are battles you will never have to fight because heaven has already intervened. There are conversations you will never have to defend yourself in because truth is rising on your behalf. There are burdens you will not carry into your future because they were never meant to stay with you. Chosen one. The spiritual sensitivity you carry is awakening even more. You will begin noticing moments of clarity that seem to appear out of nowhere, thoughts that feel inspired, ideas that flow easily, warnings that echo in your heart before anything unfolds. This inner guidance is part of your calling. It is how heaven communicates with those who walk in divine purpose. You've always felt things deeper than others. When someone near you is hurting, your spirit feels it. When someone is not genuine, your intuition alerts you. When an environment is spiritually heavy, you sense it instantly. These are not traits of an ordinary person. These are markers of someone who has been spiritually set apart. There were moments in your life when you tried to ignore these sensations, trying to blend in, trying not to feel too much. But even then, your spirit would not be silenced. You are anointed to perceive beyond the surface. I have lived with this same sensitivity, and for a long time I questioned it. I wondered why certain places made me uneasy, why certain people's intentions were clear to me long before their actions revealed anything. With time, I learned that heaven gives spiritual sight to those who are meant to protect, uplift, and guide others. And now, that same sight is being activated within you at a deeper level. This is why the divine is urging you to guard your energy in this season. Not everyone who smiles at you carries good intentions. Not every opportunity is meant to be accepted. Not every voice deserves access to your heart. You are being elevated into a new spiritual position, and elevation always requires discernment. You will begin to outgrow certain conversations, environments, and behaviors, not because you are better than anyone, but because your spirit is evolving. When heaven prepares to bless someone, it often begins by rearranging their inner priorities. What once entertained you will no longer satisfy you. What once triggered you will no longer control you. What once drained you will no longer have access to you. You are stepping into spiritual maturity, and with maturity comes clarity. That clarity will guide you to speak less, observe more, and trust yourself in ways you never have before. Yet even as you grow, understand this: the divine presence that walks with you is patient. Heaven does not rush you. Heaven shapes you gently, consistently, lovingly. Your transformation will not be forced, it will unfold. You will notice moments when your heart softens toward people you once struggled to forgive. You will notice your thoughts shifting from fear to faith. You will notice strength rising in situations that once overwhelmed you. These are the signs that your new heart is forming, your new spiritual identity taking shape. Chosen one. There is a purpose for every emotion you have felt. There is meaning behind every tear you have shed. Nothing in your journey is wasted. The divine has been collecting the broken pieces of your past and shaping them into wisdom, compassion, and power. And soon, the very things you thought would destroy you will become testimonies that strengthen others. Your life will not only rise, it will lift others with it. This is the calling of someone chosen not to walk an easy path, but to walk a meaningful one. And as this transformation deepens, prepare yourself for what heaven is aligning next, for the story is only beginning to unfold in your favor. Chosen one. As this revelation continues unfolding in your spirit, you may begin to realize that the changes occurring within you are not simply emotional shifts or phases of personal growth. They are signs of activation, signals that your spiritual identity is awakening in ways you have long sensed but never fully understood. There comes a moment in every chosen one's journey when the soul becomes aware that heaven has been preparing them for something far beyond what their past could ever explain. You are standing in that moment right now. The struggles you endured did not just make you stronger. They made you spiritually sharper. The betrayals you faced did not just teach you boundaries. They trained your discernment. The quiet seasons of isolation were not punishments. They were sacred classrooms where heaven whispered truths you could not have learned in the noise of the world. I have lived through seasons like this myself, seasons where everything familiar seemed to fall away at once. It felt like pruning, like loss, like emptiness, but in time I discovered it was actually positioning. Heaven removes what cannot go with you into your next chapter. What looks like subtraction is often divine multiplication in disguise. And the same is happening in your life right now. You are being elevated. You may not feel it yet because spiritual elevation does not always feel like rising. Sometimes it feels like being pressed, like being tested, like being stretched beyond what you think you can handle. But every stretching is an expansion. You are being expanded to carry more wisdom, more strength, more anointing, more clarity. You are being prepared to carry blessings that require a deeper foundation, a steadier heart, and a sharper spirit. This is why heaven has been addressing the blockages in your heart: resentment, guilt, fear, unspoken pain. These are the weights that chosen ones must release before stepping into greater spiritual authority. You may find yourself remembering old wounds, not because you are regressing, but because healing is rising to meet you there. The divine is showing you the places where forgiveness must flow, so that nothing in your heart remains anchored to the past. I had to walk through this too, facing memories I wanted to forget, confronting emotions I wished would disappear. Yet each moment of honesty brought another layer of freedom. Healing for a chosen one is not just about feeling better. It is about stepping into identity without the shadows of yesterday clinging to your spirit. As heaven works within you, your discernment will sharpen even more. You will begin to sense when someone's words do not match their intentions. You will recognize when an environment is misaligned with your spirit. You will feel when a path is not meant for you long before any evidence appears. This is a gift, but it is also a responsibility. You must trust what your spirit reveals to you. Too often, chosen ones witness red flags, but second-guess themselves because the world has conditioned them to doubt their own intuition. Yet, heaven is making it clear: trust what you feel. You have been given spiritual senses for a reason, and with these senses awakening, you will begin to perceive opportunities that others overlook. You will notice divine nudges, those subtle ideas, impulses, or insights that come out of nowhere and pull you toward something greater. These are not random thoughts. They are spiritual instructions. Heaven communicates through gentle impressions, and you will learn to recognize them more clearly as your inner world becomes more aligned with truth and peace. Chosen one. There is something sacred about the way you navigate life. You do not force your way into blessings. You feel your way into alignment. You do not rely on manipulation or ambition. You rely on purpose and intuition. These qualities are rare in this world, and they are part of what makes your calling so unique. You carry a softness that does not weaken you, but strengthens you. You carry a compassion that does not drain you, but empowers you. You carry a depth that cannot be taught, it can only be awakened. And now that it is awakening, your steps will begin to shift. Old desires will fade, new ambitions will rise. You will start making decisions that surprise even you, because they come from a deeper knowing, a spiritual confidence that you didn't have before. This is what it feels like when heaven reconstructs your identity from the inside out. You will no longer seek validation from people who cannot understand your calling. You will no longer chase goals that were never meant to be yours. You will no longer shrink yourself to make others comfortable. You are stepping into the fullness of who you were created to be. And as this transformation deepens, your life will begin to reflect what has already changed within you. Doors will open. Favor will follow. Relationships will shift. Alignment will become effortless because you will be walking in the identity that heaven placed within your spirit long before you understood it. Chosen one. Nothing about your awakening is accidental. You are being guided, shaped, and positioned with precision, and as you continue to walk this path, more truth will unfold, more strength will rise, and more of your hidden identity will be revealed. Chosen one. As we continue deeper into this divine unfolding, your spirit is beginning to recognize that the transformation happening within you is not temporary, nor is it fragile. It is stable, intentional, and heaven-backed. What you are experiencing is the quiet rebuilding of your inner world, the restoration of places that were worn down by years of overthinking, heartbreak, disappointment, and spiritual fatigue. If you feel lighter these days, more aware, more spiritually awake, it is not your imagination. This is what it feels like when heaven begins to renew the heart of someone who has been chosen since the beginning. You may have spent years carrying burdens that were never yours to hold. You cared too much, gave too much, trusted too deeply, and believed the best in people who did not always honor your heart. Yet even in those moments of imbalance, heaven was not angry with you. Heaven admired you. Only rare souls love with that level of sincerity. Only rare souls continue giving even after being wounded. Only rare souls hold compassion in places where others would have collapsed into bitterness. Your purity, your depth, your unwillingness to let the world harden you, these qualities set you apart. They positioned you for a higher purpose. I remember moments in my own journey where I wondered why my heart felt everything so intensely, why I felt responsible for protecting people, elevating them, comforting them. It took time to understand that people like us are wired differently, not for weakness, but for divine assignment. Heaven gives sensitive hearts to those who are meant to carry light into places where light is scarce. And you, chosen one, have done exactly that without even realizing it. But here is the turning point in this new season. You are not just a vessel for others. You are becoming a vessel for your own destiny. Heaven is not only using you to uplift people. Heaven is elevating you into a position where you will experience breakthroughs, blessings, and opportunities that match the spiritual weight you have carried for years. For so long, you poured out strength while quietly wondering who poured into you. Now, heaven is answering that question. What is coming toward you is not ordinary support. It is supernatural empowerment. This empowerment begins with clarity about who you are, what you carry, and why your life has unfolded the way it has. You are beginning to understand that the hardships you survived were not punishments. They were indicators that a rare calling rests upon your life. You faced spiritual attacks because you hold spiritual power. You endured emotional storms because your heart was destined to be a source of healing for many. You encountered betrayal because you were being prepared to discern motives with accuracy. You were isolated because heaven needed your attention without distraction. Every chapter had purpose. Every season had meaning. And now, as your identity awakens, you will begin to interpret your past through spiritual eyes rather than emotional wounds. What once felt like injustice will now look like preparation. What once felt like loss will now appear as protection. What once felt like confusion will now be understood as divine timing. Chosen one. A significant shift is happening. You are reclaiming power. The power to choose what deserves access to your spirit. The power to walk away from what drains you. The power to silence the inner critic that never spoke truth. The power to trust your intuition without apology. For years you may have ignored your inner voice because others dismissed it, but heaven is restoring your spiritual confidence. The intuition you carry is not random, it is a divine instrument tuned to the frequency of truth. You sense people's intentions before their words reveal them. You feel spiritual atmospheres shift even when nothing visible has changed. You experience dreams or impressions that later unfold in real life. These abilities were not meant to confuse you, they were given to equip you. When I first noticed these same patterns in my life, I didn't understand their purpose. I thought I was overthinking, imagining things, or being overly emotional. But when situation after situation proved my intuition correct, I began to see the truth. Heaven was training me, and heaven has been training you too. The sharpness you feel now, the heightened awareness, the sudden insights, the peace that comes out of nowhere, is not a coincidence. It is spiritual maturity. It is evidence that your inner world is aligning with the truth of who you really are. And as this alignment takes place, your environment will respond. People who are not aligned with your purpose will drift away. Opportunities that match your spirit will appear. Your decisions will become clearer because you will be making them from identity, not fear. But perhaps the most beautiful shift is this: your heart is becoming lighter. You are learning to release what no longer belongs to your spirit. You are letting go not out of anger, but out of understanding. You are forgiving not because they deserved it, but because your soul deserves peace. You are choosing your future over your pain. You are choosing alignment over attachment. You are choosing destiny over history, and heaven is celebrating this evolution. Because now that your heart is clear, the blessings that were once delayed can finally reach you. Stay receptive, chosen one. Heaven has much more to reveal. Chosen one. As this journey continues to unfold, you may begin to sense that something inside you is changing on a deeper level than ever before. This is not just emotional release or mental clarity, it is spiritual recalibration. Heaven is rewiring places in you that were once tangled by fear, doubt, exhaustion, and years of carrying burdens that were heavier than anyone around you ever realized. You are being restored from the inside out. Your spirit is detoxing from old belief systems, old survival patterns, and old versions of yourself that no longer match who you are becoming. This is why lately you might find yourself longing for silence, craving solitude, or becoming selective with your energy. These are signs that your spiritual senses are maturing. The Anointed One does not evolve through noise, you evolve through alignment. And heaven is aligning you now with a precision that only divine timing can accomplish. There have been moments when you questioned whether you were losing interest in things you once tolerated, or whether you were being distant for no reason. But what you're feeling is not withdrawal, it is elevation. You are stepping out of old frequencies and rising into higher spiritual territory. The environment's conversations and habits that kept you anchored to earlier cycles can no longer hold you because your spirit refuses to shrink back into what you have outgrown. I remember going through this stage myself, feeling torn between who I used to be and who I was becoming. Everything familiar felt too small, too loud, or too heavy, but I didn't yet understand that the discomfort was the evidence of growth. I was molting like an eagle, shedding its old feathers, not realizing that new wings were forming. You are in that same sacred shedding season now. The old you is dissolving. The true you is emerging. With this emergence comes a new inner strength, quiet, steady, unshakable. You no longer crumble under the weight of opinions that once pierced your heart. You no longer panic when uncertainty appears. You no longer feel the need to explain your sensitivity or your intuition to people who were never meant to understand it. This strength is not loud, it's not aggressive. It's the kind of strength that comes from knowing you are guided, protected, and chosen. And when you walk with that knowing, fear loses its grip. Anxiety loses its voice. Doubt loses its influence. You may also begin to notice that the divine is repairing parts of your identity that were fractured by past wounds, broken trust, childhood experiences, rejections that shaped your self-worth, losses that made you question your value. Heaven does not ignore these places. Heaven restores them. Healing does not always happen through dramatic encounters. Sometimes it happens through gentle moments, a sudden understanding, a peaceful thought, a softened heart. These are the quiet miracles. These are the signs that restoration is taking root. The hurtful memories that once triggered you begin to lose their emotional power. The mistakes you blamed yourself for begin to look like lessons rather than failures. The situations that once held you captive begin to release their hold entirely. This is the divine rewriting your internal narrative. Your perception is shifting as well. You are beginning to see beyond the surface of things. What used to confuse you now feels clear. The motives behind people's actions are becoming more visible. The spiritual weight of certain situations becomes apparent even before the facts unfold. This is part of your prophetic design. You were never meant to navigate life blindly. You were crafted with spiritual intelligence. Others may rely solely on logic, but you carry intuition, foresight, and discernment, a combination that gives you access to truths that ordinary perception cannot reach. I felt this awakening in myself years ago, and at first it was overwhelming. How do you explain to someone that you just know something? How do you describe the feeling of sensing a shift in someone's heart before they say a word? With time, I learned that this gift was not meant to be explained. It was meant to be trusted. And heaven is inviting you now to trust your own inner knowing with greater confidence. Chosen one, because your spirit is rising, blessings are rising with you. You will begin to see movement in areas of your life that once felt stagnant. The opportunities that once seemed far away will begin to draw closer. People who carry wisdom, kindness, and alignment will begin to enter your path. This is not coincidence. This is spiritual magnetism. When your spirit ascends, your environment must shift to match the new frequency. Do not be surprised when relationships change, when your goals evolve, or when your desires become more refined. Growth changes your appetite. Awakening changes your direction. You will also feel your purpose becoming clearer, not in a dramatic, overwhelming way, but in a steady, unfolding rhythm. Things that once confused you will begin to make sense. You will understand why certain doors closed, why certain people left, why certain battles were necessary. You will even begin to recognize the fingerprints of protection in places where you once felt abandonment. The divine was not punishing you, the divine was positioning you. And now, as you stand in this sacred transition, heaven is preparing to unveil even more. Your gifts will sharpen, your courage will increase, your spiritual authority will strengthen. What comes next is not just a blessing, it is a revealing, a moment where your inner identity begins to manifest outwardly in undeniable ways. Stay open, stay aware. Heaven is not finished. Chosen one. As this sacred journey continues, you may feel yourself stepping into a version of life that feels strangely familiar, yet entirely new. It is familiar because your spirit has always known you were meant for more, but it is new because for the first time you are beginning to believe it. This is the moment when inner awakening turns into outward transformation. The divine has not only been healing you, the divine has been preparing you, preparing your mind to recognize truth, preparing your heart to hold greater peace, preparing your spirit to carry a level of identity you once thought belonged only to others. But now you see it, don't you? The signs that once confused you are beginning to align. The feelings you used to brush aside are now making sense. The intuition you dismissed is now revealing itself as guidance. Heaven has been speaking your entire life, but only now is everything becoming clear. When I reflect on my own experiences, I remember seasons where life seemed to rearrange itself without my permission. People faded away, opportunities shifted, desires changed. At the time it felt like disruption, but later I understood it for what it was: divine reordering. Heaven was removing what weakened me and preserving what strengthened me. And chosen one. The same pattern has been unfolding in your story. The disappointments that broke you were actually the doorways that redirected you. The endings that devastated you were actually the beginnings that elevated you. The betrayals that wounded you were the catalysts that awakened you. Nothing was wasted. Everything was preparation. In this new season, you will notice your relationship with the world changing. You will become more aware of where your energy belongs and where it does not. Environments that once felt normal will suddenly feel heavy. Conversations that once entertained you will now feel empty. People who once had access to your heart will no longer feel aligned with your spirit. This shift is not pride or isolation. It is spiritual maturity. When heaven strengthens a chosen one, discernment becomes sharper than it has ever been. You will sense the intentions behind people's words. You will recognize spiritual heaviness in an atmosphere. You will feel when something is off before anything outward happens. This heightened awareness is one of the clearest signs that heaven is elevating you into your true identity. And as this elevation happens, something even more profound will unfold. Your inner peace will no longer depend on external stability. You once needed reassurance, explanations, or visible signs to feel safe. But now you are beginning to trust the quiet voice within you. You are beginning to rely on the stillness that settles over your heart when the divine is near. You are beginning to find rest, not in certainty, but in faith. This is what spiritual maturity feels like. Not that storms disappear, but that they no longer control the atmosphere inside you. I remember my own turning point when I realized that peace was not something I had to chase. It was something heaven placed inside me when I finally stopped running from myself. You too are nearing that turning point. The panic is weakening. The fear is dissolving. The anxiety is losing its grip. Your spirit is remembering its authority. Chosen one. One of the greatest transformations you will experience in this season is the reclaiming of your voice. For years you silenced yourself to keep the peace. You held your truth to avoid conflict. You softened your power to make others comfortable. But now your spirit refuses to be quiet. You will speak with clarity. You will express your needs without apology. You will set boundaries with confidence. This is not rebellion, it is restoration. Heaven did not design you to live small. Heaven designed you to carry presence, wisdom, and influence. Every time you honor your truth, your spirit expands. Every time you reject what drains you, your strength multiplies. Every time you choose peace over chaos, you rise into deeper alignment. And as you rise, your blessings will rise too. Opportunities will come that match your growth. Resources will arrive before you even ask. People who carry light will begin entering your life. You will find yourself connected to individuals who understand your depth, honor your sensitivity, and resonate with your purpose. This is the divine orchestration unfolding around you. Heaven aligns relationships before it aligns circumstances, because the right people unlock the right destiny. In my own journey, the greatest breakthroughs happened not when I fought harder, but when heaven sent people who carried wisdom, guidance, or support I didn't know I needed. Those connections were not accidents, and neither will yours be. Chosen one. The divine is also preparing to release answers you have waited for, clarity you have prayed for, and breakthroughs you once thought were impossible. There will be moments in the coming season where everything suddenly clicks, where understanding replaces confusion, where direction replaces hesitation, where peace replaces fear. You will realize that heaven never forgot, you never abandoned, you never delayed a blessing without purpose. What is coming toward you has been maturing behind the scenes, waiting for you to become the version of yourself who can carry it with strength and wisdom. The most profound shift of all, however, is this: you are stepping into a life led not by fear, but by calling. Not by insecurity, but by identity. Not by survival, but by purpose. And as that purpose becomes clearer, you will understand why your spirit always felt different, why you never fit into certain environments, why your heart longed for deeper things, why your intuition was always louder than your logic. You were never meant to blend in. You were meant to awaken. And now the awakening has begun. Chosen one. As you step into this final movement of your awakening, your spirit is beginning to understand the depth of what heaven has been constructing within you. You are not merely changing, you are being revealed. This season is not about becoming someone new, but remembering who you have always been beneath the layers of pain, fear, exhaustion, and expectations that life placed upon you. For years, the true you lived quietly in the background, whispering through intuition, speaking through dreams, nudging you through discomfort whenever you stayed in environments that were too small for your spirit. And now those whispers have become clarity. That nudge has become direction. That quiet inner voice you used to doubt has become the guiding force that leads you into alignment. The divine has been waiting for this moment, your moment of recognition. There comes a time when every chosen one realizes they are no longer the same person who once endured heartbreak, disappointment, or betrayal with the same fragility. Something has toughened you, but not in a way that hardened your heart. Instead, your spirit has grown stronger, wiser, more discerning, more rooted. The wounds that once defined you have become the wisdom that strengthens you. The burdens that once overwhelmed you have become testimonies that empower you. The same situations that once confused you now reveal themselves as purposeful chapters that shaped your identity. I remember a moment in my own journey when it became clear that nothing in my life had happened randomly. Every difficulty had sharpened me. Every loss had taught me. Every blessing had positioned me. And when I finally saw the pattern, I realized that destiny is not built overnight. It is sculpted slowly, deliberately through seasons we often do not understand, until we emerge from them stronger than before. You are emerging now, chosen one. With this emergence comes responsibility, not heavy responsibility, but sacred responsibility. You are being entrusted with spiritual authority, heightened intuition, and a clarity of purpose you didn't have in earlier seasons. You will notice that your words will begin to carry more impact. Your presence will shift atmospheres. Your insight will speak to people's hearts in ways they cannot explain. You may not fully understand why, but it is because heaven has activated your identity. When a chosen one speaks from alignment, truth pierces through confusion. When a chosen one walks with confidence in their calling, the spiritual realm responds. When a chosen one prays with sincerity, mountains move not because of who you are on the surface, but because of who you are in spirit. This is why your journey required so much stripping, cleansing, and rebuilding. Heaven was not punishing you. Heaven was preparing you. You cannot carry light into dark places while still believing you are small. You cannot speak healing into others while still viewing yourself as broken. You cannot walk in authority while carrying the weight of old wounds. And now, slowly and steadily, heaven has been removing those weights layer by layer. You feel it in the way your heart has softened toward yourself. You feel it in the way your fears no longer dominate your decisions. You feel it in the way your intuition has become louder, sharper, more undeniable. This is the unveiling of your true identity. In this new season, you will notice the divine speaking to you more clearly. Sometimes through sudden ideas, sometimes through subtle impressions, sometimes through dreams that feel too vivid to ignore, sometimes through an unshakable peace that rests on your heart even when circumstances look uncertain. Do not dismiss these moments. They are spiritual instructions, divine signals guiding your steps. When I first learned to recognize these signals in my own life, it changed everything. I stopped forcing. I stopped worrying. I stopped doubting. Instead, I began following the pull of peace. And every time I followed that peace, I found myself aligned with blessings and breakthroughs that logic alone could never have led me to. You are entering that same dimension of guidance now. Trust what heaven is placing inside you. Chosen one. The blessings that are approaching you are not random rewards. They are alignments. They match your growth. They reflect your resilience. They honor the battles you have fought in silence. There will be moments soon when doors open that you never had the courage to knock on. There will be opportunities that feel perfectly tailored to your spirit. There will be people who enter your life carrying the exact wisdom, support, or encouragement you have prayed for. The divine is orchestrating these connections with precision. Heaven does not send everyone to you, only those who match the frequency of your future. And because you have elevated internally, your external blessings will now begin to elevate too. But perhaps the greatest transformation in this season is this. You are beginning to trust yourself again, not the old version of you shaped by fear or brokenness, but the true version shaped by wisdom, identity, and divine guidance. You trust your intuition, you trust your heart, you trust your discernment. And most importantly, you trust the path unfolding before you, even if you cannot see every step. This trust is the foundation of your new life. It is the anchor that keeps you rooted when storms come. It is the compass that guides you when decisions feel heavy. It is the quiet inner knowing that whispers, "You are not alone, you are guided, you are chosen." As this chapter closes and the next begins, remember this truth: everything you have survived has prepared you for everything you're about to receive. Nothing was wasted, nothing was random, nothing was without purpose. Your identity has been revealed, your spirit has awakened, and heaven is not finished. The greatest part of your destiny is not behind you, it is rising before you now. Chosen one. As you reach the end of this message, let your spirit recognize the truth that has been unfolding within you. Nothing you heard today was accidental. Heaven has been calling your name, awakening what has been hidden, reminding you of the sacred identity you carry. You are not ordinary. You were set apart long before you understood why your heart felt deeper, why your spirit sensed more, why your path was shaped by battles that others could not see. This moment is part of your revealing. This is heaven confirming that your origin is divine, your steps are guided, and your destiny has always been protected. Anointed One, receive this blessing now. May your heart rise with new strength. May your spirit stand firm in clarity. May every lie that tried to dim your identity dissolve under the weight of truth. You are being aligned with purpose. You are being anchored in peace. You are being covered with favor that no opposition can break. Walk forward, knowing that the signs you have been noticing, the stirrings in your inner world, and the pull toward something greater are not coincidences, they are confirmations. Chosen one, step into the days ahead with confidence. Carry your divine truth like a mantle. Let your discernment guide you, let your faith steady you, and let your calling shape the way you move through this world. Heaven walks beside you, goes before you, and strengthens you from within. If this message touched your spirit, feel free to share your reflection in the comments so others may be encouraged by your light. And if you desire more words that speak to your hidden identity and divine purpose, you are welcome to join this community of chosen hearts. Go now in peace, in strength, and in the fullness of who you truly are. You are loved. You are guided. You are chosen.